Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and welcome to episode 161 of Dude and a Monkey. We're about 20 or so away from breaking through the amount of 35mm Heroes did, so...
Bloody hell, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Fucking hell, time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah, Heroes ended at about 184, 185, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And, because I know Mike was like, I don't know how you guys did that. I would have had the OCD to at least get to 200.
Yeah.
But, I mean, fuck, we all hated each other by the time that finished anyway. So. But, anyway, no. So my
it was when Jordan wanted to make us sign those accords, and I wouldn't sign, and you wanted me to sign, and that whole sort of ugliness after that, it just...
The Cumbronia records.
The Cumbrian accords, yeah.
No, it was messy times. We had a fight in just a car park.
Mm.
It was an airport car park.
Yeah.
Luton Airport, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, just a regional airport. I can't even remember where it was. It probably was Luton, to be fair.
You brought Mark along in his underoos.
Yeah. And he was just really excited to be there.
I was just really excited to be there. Well, you put a bag on my head and said, we're going to a party, get naked. So, and then I got thrown out and just told to go and attack Jordan.
It's not a good one for first-time listeners, is it? Dude the Monkey. My name's Ian Loring. As always, I'm joined by...
Mark Foster. Hello, everybody.
And our every now and then comic book movie correspondent, the bastard.
Because he missed the big one.
I missed the fucking main one of the year, didn't I?
Who are you?
Noel Mellor, hello.
There we go. And so, instead, we're going to talk about X-Men Apocalypse. He didn't turn up for Civil War, but he's here for X-Men Apocalypse. We'll also talk about some other stuff. I mean, to be fair, Mark and I only recorded 3 days ago, so I don't know. We'll probably have to improv.
Yeah.
But I've got a few things to talk about in terms of what we watched, actually. So, we'll be all right. But I don't know. Has anything happened in the last few days, film-wise?
Well, on a comic book tip, I think there's a strong sort of rumoured leak about Spider-Man Homecoming, about the plot of that, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, go on. I'm not sure what this is about. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's leaked on 4chan, which is a great place for leaks, but it's not the most reliable in the world. But there's something that's emerged on there that said that the main villain is going to be Adrian Toomes, who is the Vulture, and there's a supporting role for for his boss Norman Osborn. So the Vulture's working for Oscorp. Toomes is developing a flying suit based on Stark technology, but he is betrayed by Osborn and turns to crime to continue his research, which all sounds a little bit Batman Forever to me. Robert Downey Jr.'s got a supporting role, but he can't. He goes along to sort of help Peter Parker, but he can't get involved because of the Sokovia Accords. The homecoming part of the title apparently relates to a literal homecoming dance at Peter's school, which is Avengers themed, and Mary Jane Watson shows up at the end. Otto Octavius is mentioned as an employee, although he doesn't appear in the film. That's pretty much it, really. But the other news this week was that Michael Keaton is apparently going to be attached to this film. So Michael Keaton was rumoured at first, and then it was said that he wasn't, and now apparently it's come out that Michael Keaton, they wanted him, but they didn't make a strong enough offer to him, and now they've made him an offer and he's attached. So everybody's kind of suggesting that he might be the Vulture. Nobody's really talking about Norman Osborn, and I think what this is people probably feel like, oh yeah, we've had Norman Osborn now, it's been done, and we don't really need to do that again. I really strongly feel that Michael Keaton would make the perfect Norman Osborn. Yeah. I think there's a real I think there's a Norman Osborn that the Marvel Cinematic Universe and comic books in general really needs, and it isn't the one that we've already had. I think it's the sort of, I think I mentioned it in our review of Batman versus Superman, the fact that DC really let themselves down with what's his face, with
Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, because they really didn't get that, strong, pragmatic, criminal mastermind, really clever, really powerful, really sharp thing. And in the Marvel comic universe, that's who Norman Osborn is. So I feel like, certainly plot lines like Dark Reign, and which is what sort of happens in the aftermath of Civil War, when Norman Osborn ends up being in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. and sort of developing his own Avengers and stuff like that. That kind of Norman Osborn would be a brilliant and really fresh thing for comic book movies in general. So I can see Michael Keaton doing that brilliantly. So if it's announced that Michael Keaton's going to be the Vulture, I'm going to be hugely disappointed. But we'll see. All of this could be absolute bullshit. So yeah, that's the rumor.
Yeah, I read that one as well. It'd be a good bit of casting, certainly, I think, anyway.
It's weird, though, because the Vulture's come up quite a few times, I think. A lot of people were talking about the Vulture when Spider-Man 4 was on the table, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 4, and I think, was it Malkovich that was supposed to be attached to that, I think?
Wasn't there a bloody word that it was going to be the Larry David was like...
What?
Like, it was Larry David and then John Malkovich. No, I swear that was fucking... Hang on.
Larry David would have been fucking weird.
I've got to fucking Google this now.
Do you know what would have been good? If it was Larry David as the Vulture, but all the scenes involving the Vulture were shot like Curb Your Enthusiasm, so it's just sort of played in that sort of improv kind of way.
Here we go. Fucking MTV.com article from 2009. Fuck. Hang on. Oh, God damn it. Larry David as Vulture, ? Robert Pattinson as Morbius, ?
Oh, God. No. That's grasping, that. Surely.
Well, that Robert Pattinson's going to be in everything at the moment kind of shouts, though.
Oh, okay, so it was Spider-Man, like, people who worked on the comic were kind of lobbying for him, apparently. It was never an actual thing.
It's weird, because it's weird that the Vulture keeps coming up, because it's like, I mean, do general audiences really know the Vulture? I mean, I know general audiences know Dr. Octopus, and they know the Green Goblin, I think. But Vulture, really? I mean, I've not read that much with Vulture in. Maybe I'm not doing him a disservice a little bit, but I don't know. I'm really, really rooting for Michael Keaton as Norman Osborn. I think that'd be so good.
I think we'll find out soon enough. I mean, in the end of the day, like, it's out in about a year. They're going to have to start filming soon, and it's the kind of thing they're not going to be able to keep under wraps for too long, I don't think.
No, I think also as well, and it's been announced that Carl Urban and Kate Blanchett are going to be in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, Kate Blanchett's been rumoured for a while, but bloody Goldblum in it.
Yeah, Goldblum, yes, Goldblum as well,
yeah.
And in other comic book news, it seems the lobbying for Ron Perlman as Cable in Deadpool is picking up a bit of speed, and even Perlman's kind of jumped out and said, "Do you know what? I think this could work."
Yeah. The tweet, was it a tweet of his that I saw where he said, "I think Cable should be lobbying to play me."
Me, yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yes.
Deadpool 2 is fascinating. Like, that fucker's going to be out. Like, it's going to be a 2-year cycle thing. That's going to be out in 2018, and it's going to be really interesting to see what they do there and just how much more fourth wall breaking they get and how much more they push it as well. I want more unicorn masturbating.
My worry is that they're going to lose a bit of the... it's all speculation, but my worry is that they're going to be so desperate to push Deadpool towards the X-Men a bit more that they might lose a little bit of what worked with...
apparently the makers and Reynolds have basically said the only way they'll do a sequel is if they get absolute full control over everything that goes out with it.
That would be good. Yeah.
And that's what they've been given, because essentially they've said, look, we delivered a hit
We did this. Yeah.
of 60 million. We delivered one of the biggest comic book movies of all time. If you want us back, then it's under our terms.
Yeah. It's weird that Fox is now, a company that is seen to be taking risks and doing that.
Yeah.
Whereas it feels like everything that Marvel Studios is doing is getting kind of formulaic. You've got Fox on the other hand that's like, oh yeah, fuck it, we'll just let them do what they want.
Even though, I mean, like, to be fair, that attitude also produced Fantastic Four, because that was let's let Josh Trank do what he wants to do. And I mean, I'm probably one of the only people on the internet who didn't hate Fantastic Four. I didn't particularly love it, but I didn't hate it. But that film just did so badly. And its cultural imprint has been like zero. Even though it was funny. Did you guys see that interview with Simon Kinberg? Who's kind of like he wrote Apocalypse and he produced. I think he produced Deadpool. And
it's kind of like Fox's Feige.
Yeah, totally. And he was saying that he wants to do another Fantastic Four with the same cast. And it's like, come, just give it up.
Yeah.
Just reboot it again in a few years. Just don't. Why are you even bringing it up?
Stop flogging a dead horse.
I think the struggle there would be actually going back to that cast and going, come on, let's do another one. I can imagine, not Rooney Mara,
Kate Mara.
Kate Mara. Kate Mara's face when he said to her, "We're gonna give Fantastic Four another go." She'd be like, "Fuck you, no,
no, we're not."
I mean, didn't Miles Teller actually say he hasn't even seen it? It was like Miles Teller.
Hello.
It was like everybody said it was shit, so I didn't actually watch it.
Yeah, he said it was shit, and so I couldn't bear to watch it. But he has sort of said, he kind of come out and said, the problem with what happened with Fantastic Four was not everybody wanted to make a great movie. Only certain members of us wanted to make a great movie, and other people wanted to cash a check. Is what he's kind of said, and it felt like a little bit of a dig at Kate Mara, apparently.
Oh, right, no.
Yeah, apparently she was a misery on set for the entire time.
Yeah, that comes across in the film, I think. Kate Mara sort of not really wanting to be there.
Yeah. Well, fucking hell. Do we actually have any trailers over the last few days? I'm going to say no.
There is one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Star Trek Beyond.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. They made me want to actually watch it. I'll watch it. I'm still not expecting much, but it actually looks like it might be fun.
I'll watch it, but I still don't care.
I do not give a fuck.
Yeah. I have a feeling after it, I'm just watching it and going, how was Zachary Quinto ever a thing?
Because of Heroes.
Yeah, that's it. But it's just
he's still riding that.
He's fallen so far.
Didn't you watch Agent 47? How was he in that?
Do you know what? Agent 47 is a lot of fun, except when Zachary Quinto's anywhere on screen, and then you're going, go away. Bring back the other two people.
Isn't he producing some stuff now as well, though?
Yeah, he's also, he do those American Horror Story ones.
Oh, right, okay. What, the TV show?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I watched like the first half a season of that, and it bored the living fuck out of me, so I stopped. But I'm pretty sure he's been in those.
Yeah, I thought about watching it at one point, but life's too short.
It most certainly is.
So what do you guys think?
I do not have any enthusiasm for the J.J. Abrams Star Trek universe whatsoever. I'm sure I'll watch it, but I doubt very much it'll be at the cinema, and I really don't expect anything from it. I find it very difficult to care about those films now. The first one I enjoyed, the second one not so much, the third one I'm probably not going to see at the cinema.
I enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed the second one. But they're the sort of films where I've watched them once. I have no interest in ever watching either of them again. And I look at this and go, yeah, nah.
It just feels like, the trailers just feel like they're hitting very obvious beats, and the look of it's just a very familiar look. It just doesn't look like it's bringing anything new to the table, really, apart from just it's a Star Trek blockbuster.
I'm glad that it looks like they're on an alien planet and actually doing some trekking.
Mm.
Like the whole kind of like the idea of him like wanting to get back out there. It's like I'm up for that. I mean, again, I'll reiterate, I don't give a monkeys, but after that teaser trailer, this at least has a bit of life to it, even though if it does kind of feel like it's contractual obligation powering it along.
I wonder how big a part Pegg has written for himself.
Probably fairly big.
Yeah.
Probably a much bigger part than Scotty has ever had in any part of the Star Trek franchise. When you think about it, Scotty was always just, the guy downstairs trying to make the engines work, and now he's pretty central. So
I don't know. I mean, like, it's just anything that Simon Pegg's not written with Edgar Wright, I am not a great fan of. So we'll see. Maybe this Doug Young guy he's co-written it with will temper him a bit. We'll see. It's out sometime this summer.
It's a Justin Lin film. If there's a reason for me to go and watch it, and I can't believe I'm saying that, if there's a reason for me to go and watch this movie, it's because it's a Justin Lin film, and I might get some fun out of it. That is attracting me way more than the notion of it being a Star Trek film, the notion of it being a continuation of the J.J. Abrams Star Trek universe. Seeing those characters again in a different situation. None of that is appealing to me whatsoever. What might appeal to me that weekend, possibly, is that, hey, there's a new Justin Lin movie out.
Yeah.
See what the reviews are like as well. If it can't, like, reviews come out just like 2 stars across the board, there you go.
It does. I'd be wary though, because it does also feel a little bit like people kind of want to dislike this film.
Yeah, there is a little bit of that. I think most people seem to forget that it was even happening until the teaser trailer arrived, and everyone kind of went, "Oh, is that still a thing? Oh, we hate it."
I genuinely think, like, in terms of the media reaction to it as well, I genuinely think there's a bit of the fact that people were pretty high on Star Trek Into Darkness when it came out, and then very soon after that film, the general noise on that film shifted very shortly after release, but it felt like before release, like the industry was very, very into it, and I can't help but think there's maybe a reaction to that here, because I mean, Into Darkness was not great in the fucking slightest, and yet I remember at the time it getting a lot of like kind of 4-star kind of reviews around. And I've got a feeling there's a bit of like making up for it in a weird way here, but
yeah,
we'll see what happens. I am interested based off of this trailer. I'm willing to give it a go. I probably would have been anyway, in fairness, because it will probably be the only thing out that week. So we got to review something.
Exactly.
I just checked my my letterbox because I couldn't remember what my feelings on the last film really were, but I gave it 3.5, so that's not bad. Yeah. I think my main problem was that it kind of pandered quite a bit, which it does, but a Star Trek film probably should.
In the worst way, though. I mean,
yeah,
the Khan and how that whole Rafa Khan situation is reversed is. I don't know. I thought that was pretty insulting, but hey. I mean, I think J.J. Abrams even came out after and said, yeah, that probably wasn't the best idea. And also, just all that shit about Benedict Cumberbatch. Is he Khan? Isn't he Khan?
He's Khan.
Yeah, it kind of it distracted me for quite a lot of the first half of the film, because you're waiting to get to that point, and actually when you get that point and it's revealed, you don't really gain anything or earn anything, because it's it's not Ricardo Montalban. It's a different person who just happens to have that name. It could have been anyone.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bumper Dick Cucumber Patch.
Mm-hmm.
Beryl cum satchel.
This is filling up time nicely. Let's.
Any more?
No, I think that's it. Should we talk about some more comic stuff?
Why not?
Here we go then. It is a bit draining, isn't it? Just the sheer
Volume
of comic-y stuff. I mean, fair play, and a good chunk of it is good, but it does feel like you just finished talking about one and then another comes along at the moment. But
well, see, the thing is I have this bug up my arse about people saying that this year there will be 6 comic book movies, 7 if you count Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I kind of don't because they're something else now. So there are 7 comic book movies out this year out of the 200 and whatever films that come out.
It is literally just because, like, in the last 2 months, there's been 3 of them. I think that's all it is. Like, if there's like a break of a good couple of months now, then I'll be chomping at the bit.
Well, that's it. We've got nothing aside from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's August before we get Suicide Squad, and then it's October, November before we get Doctor Strange. So there is a good break now, and I agree with you. It's just, sometimes when people say, "Oh, fucking movies nowadays, it's all comic book movies," I'm like, you're not looking hard enough.
No.
There are plenty of things out there.
It is literally because it does feel like it was last week that we did Civil War, and it does feel like it was about 3 weeks ago that we did Batman versus Superman. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just time is an ever-increasing thing and throwing us towards the inevitability of our own deaths. But
that could be it.
Yeah, that could be it. I don't know. I'm just realising my own mortality. And what am I doing? I'm talking about comic book films. I'm glad you had this revelation here.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. X-Men Apocalypse.
Speaking of Apocalypse,
is directed by Bryan Singer and stars Michael F. Fassbender, James McAvoy, Jennifer Lawrence, the redheaded one from Game of Thrones, the kid from Mud, the kid from The Road, the one who was in that one scene in Days of Future Past everybody liked, and some other people.
And apparently...
Call him by his real name. It's the guy who got his arse kicked by Emma Roberts.
Who?
That Evan Peters guy.
What?
Evan Peters who plays what's his name?
Quicksilver,
yeah. He's the one who got his ass kicked by Emma Roberts in that hotel.
Why? What did he do?
Nothing. He didn't do anything. She's a psychopath. She attacked him in a hotel. They were dating.
In real life?
In real life, yeah. Yeah, she beat him up like 2 or 3 times while they were dating. And she's come out and admitted that he never ever got violent with her, but yeah, that she's got a bit of a short fuse.
Emma Roberts was arrested for domestic violence in Canada for allegedly hitting her actor boyfriend Evan Peters, the 22-year-old niece. Well, if you're the 22-year-old niece of Julia Roberts,
and Erin Roberts' daughter.
Oh God, yeah. Was taken into custody on July 7th. I never even thought of that. In Montreal after getting into a fight with her and left the 26-year-old Peters bloody.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
She always looked like a bitch, though, didn't she?
I know, she's magnificent.
Okay.
You've left out one of the main actors of this film, and there's a really important point here.
I know what you mean.
Oh, Nicholas Hoult.
The fucking title character of the movie.
Oh, Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. And nobody seems to acknowledge that when the credits. I sat through this movie watching it, and every time this guy Apocalypse was on the screen, I was looking at him and I was going, I wonder who this guy is. They've obviously gone for like a sort of, an Asian actor, and I wonder if he's like somebody from Bollywood cinema or something like that, because he's got kind of a sort of Asian look to him. And then the movie ended and the name Oscar Isaac popped up, and I was like, who was Oscar Isaac in that movie? I had absolutely no idea that he was Apocalypse.
No, and that's very, very easy. Yeah, fuck, I did forget him. That does say something. So, Apocalypse, played by Oscar Isaac, is what's considered to be the first mutant, and he has loads of mutancy powers. He is unleashed upon the world thanks to an inconveniently placed rug, and I mean, it is though.
Yeah.
And the X-Men have to stop him. There are some older X-Men. You got Professor X. He's back. Mystique's back, who's an icon to people now apparently. Michael F. Fassbender's back. He's got a wife and a child. No prizes. What happens to them about half an hour in? And some stuff happens. Some new X-Men show up. It happens for about 2 hours 24 minutes, and then there's a post-credits bit that I didn't really know what was going on. Noel, what do you think of X-Men Apocalypse?
Right. It's really weird because I wasn't expecting this, but we have, as I said, we've had 3 comic book movies this year so far, this being the 4th. And this was probably the one that I was looking forward to the least out of the whole year. And to date, this was, for me, this was the best one that we've had so far. I thoroughly enjoyed this film. And as it turns out, the rest of a large portion of the internet disagrees with that angle, and I can't figure out why. It's huge fun. It's an unapologetic comic book movie, and I think that's what's great about it. It doesn't feel as encumbered with the problems of trying to figure out motivations for everybody that Civil War has. Everybody who's there feels like they should be there and they're fighting against an evil that needs to be stopped, but at the same time everything's done in a fun comic book movie way. It's got great moments of comic book movie fun. It is tonally a fucking car crash, but I don't know, every section feels different from the last, but I enjoyed every section, so I was happy to go along with it. I really enjoyed it, and it just, something clicked with me. I think I've never really gotten along with Bryan Singer's aesthetic, and I've never really gotten along with the Fox aesthetic for X-Men. It always feels very cheap and over-designed and a bit tacky and a bit blue and a bit shiny. And when the credits started to roll, and it was those sort of really over-designed credits, and they were all garish and horrible. And then you see that sort of, the door to Cerebro, that sort of ugly sort of late 90s looking designed door. I felt sick just looking at it. I was like, oh God, this looks absolutely horrible. I'm going to hate this.
Like a DVD menu.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it just felt so old. And then something happened about, I think it was around it was the point where, Apocalypse is being awoken. And all of a sudden, you've got Apocalypse looking the way that he looks, a little bit like the bad guy from The Keep. And you've got all this sort of like purple electricity sort of fizzing around and sort of, him awakening from this slumber in this sort of, this tomb. And all of a sudden, something just clicked in my head and it just sort of went...
Did you have a stroke?
I felt like I was having a stroke. I didn't get that excited, but something just clicked where it was like, right, it's like a late 80s straight-to-video sci-fi movie with a budget.
And that's why Right, okay.
I think
fair enough.
It was, but just something clicked with me, and I was just like, oh, okay, all right, fine. And then, there's scenes after that involve it, it's set in the 80s, and there's some great music in there, and there's some fun sequences, like the sequence with Quicksilver and stuff like that. And everything just slotted right in for me. And I had a fucking awesome time with it. I really thoroughly enjoyed it.
Mark?
Uh-oh.
It's not without its charms at points.
Don't butter me up.
But for a movie that is 144 minutes long, it ties itself in fucking knots, tonally, and it's so little actually happens for so long amount of the time. I got bored of watching close-ups of people's eyes with a single tear rolling down their face. It's ugly as fuck, but then again, most of Bryan Singer's films are ugly as fuck. I only care about a couple of the X-Men, and one of them isn't even in this.
Which one?
Well, not X-Men characters, I suppose. Deadpool. Wolverine's. Let's spoil alert. Wolverine's in it, but if you've watched any of the fucking trailers, you know Wolverine's in it.
I actually quite like the Wolverine.
I quite like the Wolverine bit, but it was almost like they didn't trust an X-Men movie to not have Wolverine in it because it didn't need him in it.
And that's
it
fair.
really didn't.
It didn't. Oscar Isaac's.
You could say the same about Spider-Man in Civil War, though.
Yeah, I did. There was some alright bits in it, but all the way through it, I was just thinking, I just don't care anymore about any of these people at all. I really hope that all of them die and then none of them die.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I don't love any of the X-Men films, but I think there's a few of them that are very, very good. But it always feels like a franchise which hasn't quite ever really, really fucking nailed it. And after the kind of like the really interesting, quite singular vision that X-Men First Class was, like, because that's a Matthew Vaughn film through and through. And then, like, you know, Days of Future Past is pretty ambitious, and I think it gets it right for the most part. To have something here which is half contractual obligation for some of the actors who just basically have to turn up, but then actually do pretty good work when they're on screen. I mean, Fassbender is great in the first half of the film before he starts standing around watching everybody for the second half. And I mean, Jennifer Lawrence is good, but considering like the importance her character had in Days of Future Past, it's kind of mental how little she really does in this one. This one is half contractual obligation, half trying to set up a new set of characters. And it's long, but it doesn't really seem to... I don't think it really seems to accomplish anything. I mean, what has happened by the end of this film? A few people have joined the X-Men. McAvoy's lost his hair.
McAvoy lost his hair. That's important.
And Magneto's fucked off.
Yeah.
And that's about it. And again, and it's weird that Magneto is fucked off because the whole reason why he changes his mind in the third act is, you know, because he's like, you know, my family are still here. These people are my family. And then the last scene is, bye, family.
Which is a little bit like what Singer did with Wolverine in the first two X-Men movies.
Yeah, absolutely. But like you said, it's not without its charms. I mean, the Fassbender, when his wife and kid get killed, I was totally like, yep, you go apeshit, bud.
I was as well. However, I didn't need him shouting up to the heavens.
Oh, I love that.
I like that.
I was there going,
is this what I am? I love that. That's brilliant.
Because what was it? Is this what I am? This is what I am.
Yeah.
Or something. That was good.
That scene, that whole sequence was brilliant, but it felt like it was from a completely different film.
As does James McAvoy's weirdly stalkery interactions with Rose Byrne.
Yeah.
You know, and then, I mean, like, Quicksilver feels like he's in a different film. The recruitment of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse feels like it's from a different film. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, Psylocke, how did they just, like, let her wander off at the end? It's like, that character is nothing.
She literally does nothing in this movie at all.
I mean, it's fucking embarrassing. I mean, and then at the end, she literally just walks off.
Yeah. She scowls and walks off.
It was almost like she was pissed off the fact that nobody remembered. It's like like 2 movies time, they'll go, wonder whatever happened to that bitch that had the whip thing.
No,
I think
all
the
that
only
will
way-
happen.
The only way it would have been better is if she'd have cackled a little bit and said, "I'll get you next time, X-Men."
All that will happen is what happened between First Class and Days of Future Past, where all the ones they didn't want to have just turn back up, they just killed off screen, and Jennifer Lawrence looked through some files, and then there are pictures, and it says killed or whatever. That's what's going to happen with her. There's going to be like a one-line thing about Psylocke, oh, she fell off a bridge. And then they'll crack on with it. You know, it just... I mean, the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, Storm was all right.
They didn't seem very apocalyptic, any of them, though. One of them got trapped in a thing that he then broke out of really easily. Olivia Munn got knocked out falling from something. Storm seemed to just have a bit of a crisis of confidence halfway through it. And Magneto was in his giant magnet.
I like the Magneto stuff. Literally, the third act is him standing there.
It was literally like they went
watching everybody else. I mean, it's brutal.
They went, Mike, can you just do this? No. Can you do this? No. Can you do this? No. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna stand.
It's like an Elon.
I'm gonna stand.
It's like they took the scene where Darth Vader's looking at the Emperor and then looking at Luke. And they just extended that for like half an hour.
He's literally just standing for so long, going, nah, just doing shit. Because what Michael F. Fassbender, what Magneto does to destroy the world is he rips up everyone's plumbing, and the world gets fucked.
Yeah. I think the third act is a genuine car crash. It's full of CGI bobbins that you don't care about. The central dilemma, I mean, is kind of interesting with like Magneto's kind of choice. It's kind of interesting, but then it's like cut with bloody McAvoy and Isaac having a dream fight.
Which reminded me of Jonah Hex.
Yeah. Jonah Hex, the film where there's a fight that literally takes place on two different planes of existence at one point. I haven't even thought of that, but you're right. Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, Noel, sell us on it.
I can't do that. No, it's weird because they do seem more concerned with getting Fassbender back on side than they do
with stopping
this guy who is apparently the apocalypse. I don't know. It's just there's a lot of moments and sequences in the film that work really well for me, and they are all tonally very, very different from one another. So as a movie, it doesn't necessarily work. I agree. It falls back into typical comic book movie disease stuff at the end, and like I said to you, Ian, I can live without seeing another fucking suspension bridge destroyed at this point. It's ridiculous.
I thought that at that exact moment, I went, really?
Especially this franchise.
Bridge.
Sure there's been more bridges destroyed in this franchise than entries in this franchise, I think.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, but there are moments in there that, and the moments that are in there, they really appeal to the kid in me, and I think that's what it is. They appeal to there's something fun about this that makes me connect it to. It makes me think. I'm watching this and I'm thinking, if this had come out when I was like 12 years old, I would be fucking eating this shit up.
Exactly. If I was 11, 12 years old and Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, that's the sort of movie I'd watch. Having
Metallica play while they give Angel those sort of metal spiked wings and he's like flinging there's something about that just turns me into a kid again and just makes me go, oh yeah, comic book movies. Just, that's the if you compare that to the experience of Batman versus Superman, which feels like you're walking through glue. Or you compare it to Civil War, which I still think is a great movie, but the problems with Civil War, which I could talk about in a bit for what we watched, but the problems with Civil War is that you're kind of having to position everything to get everybody motivated to get into the positions that they're supposed to be into for this thing, and it all feels very laboured. Whereas with this, it just, maybe it's the aesthetic and maybe it's the fuck it of it all. But I just went along with it, and you know, seeing a sequence like I mentioned, like the angel sequence, and then seeing a sequence like the Quicksilver sequence, which has just got great music over it, and it's just really fun effects, and it's a light moment that sort of brings everything up. That just worked for me, like, and I know it's not a good movie, and I know the sum of its parts don't add up to something great, but it just tapped into something for me.
I mean, that section is a perfect microcosm of the problems with this film's tone as well. Because, it's very light-hearted. It's also the destruction of the X-Mansion and the death of one of the characters' brothers.
Mm.
Oh, but when they rebuild that fucking thing at the end, and it's just Magneto and what's the name rebuilding it, that was brutal.
Yeah, I mean, like, the fact that it appears that Jean Grey knows carpentry and can, like, building things.
Yeah.
You know, like, I would have loved to have seen Magneto, like, pile all this metal along and then just look at her and she'd just be like, what do you want me to do with that?
Yeah. I did think, actually, during that scene, I was watching it and I was thinking, so you're an architect and a buildings engineer now, are you?
Yeah.
Slotting it all together. No plans, no nothing, just, yeah.
I liked Joss Helman as Stryker because he looks like he quite literally is chewing on his own hatred of everything throughout that and enjoying every single bite.
Yeah. I mean, he was good in Days of Future Past as well. I mean, he had that kind of thing going on, but he's even more pissed off here. And I mean, speaking of him, I mean, the Wolverine sequence is great because you're finally seeing what it's like actually taking that beast out of a literal cage.
Mm.
And it is just really, really, really stabby, and I think quite 12A pushing.
There were scenes in there that I thought,
yeah, I can absolutely see that. There was a lot of death and a lot of blood and everything like that. It did feel a little bit like, are we just saying now that a comic book movie is never going to be anything more than a 12A if they don't have tits or F-bombs in them?
Or International Women's Day.
Yeah, you can literally say whatever you want. You can show whatever you want as long as it's nothing boob, tits, or ass related, and as long as you don't say fuck.
There is a possibility, and I don't know if there's any truth to this, or there is a possibility that maybe, you know, in the wake of Deadpool, they kind of thought, all right, well, maybe we can stick a little bit extra CG blood in here, and maybe we can just lop this character's arm off or whatever.
But they quite literally now, they kind of ask, don't they? They say, what can we get away with? If we do this, will we get away with it? And
they like screen a cut and say, right, how can we adapt this in order to fulfill a 12A?
Yeah.
Which slight tangent, is one of the things that people get pissed off about with the BBFC, saying that they're advising people how to cut down films to meet certificates and stuff, but it's like, well, it's kind of, it's a job that they could do. They could say, right, if you do this and this, it will get a 12A. It's not them insisting the distributor do it. It's the distributor asking so that they can get a certificate.
The people who complain about this type of stuff are the same sort of people who complain about the fact that Iron Man 3 replaced their bad guy with it was supposed to be a female bad guy and then it was a male bad guy. If you don't understand that what you're watching here is art by a committee made to make as much money as possible, then you're a fucking idiot. This is the way the world works. It would be nice if everything was equal and everybody got a fair shot of everything, but movies are made to make money and sell toys, and that's the way the world works.
Yeah. And the other point is, why do people care?
Yeah.
Why do people care? You know, I was watching that thinking...
They just want to look like they care.
Yeah, I was watching that thinking, this is a strong 12A. Doesn't mean to say I wouldn't let Isabel watch it. I absolutely would let Isabel watch it. Fuck, I let her watch Battle Royale, for God's sake. I'm going to let her watch X-Men Apocalypse. And frankly, it's up to other people when they bring their kids on. It's not up to the fucking censors. But yeah, I just was watching it thinking, this is pushing a fucking 12A to the absolute fucking limit on this now.
And again, it kind of felt out of step with the rest of the film. I mean, it's lit, but there are individual sequences in the film that I really like, which make me not hate the film. I mean, like people, like the 1 and 2 star reviews coming out, I think are too harsh. I'm not that far off of it, but I do think some of the negative hyperbole around this is a little wearing and incorrect, frankly. I mean, any film that's got a sequence as strong as the Fassbender's family getting killed I don't think you can completely write off. But then it is also a film with Psylocke, so you know, I just think it's a shame. I mean, I'm really glad Noel enjoyed it. I'm very surprised.
Absolutely, yeah.
But, I'm really glad he enjoyed it. But I mean, what about the new X-Men? Like, we haven't really touched on them all that much. I mean,
they're not really new, though, are they?
Well,
just different versions of what we've already seen, though.
I mean, I thought Sophie Turner was fairly innocuous. Like, she just.
She's a throner.
Yeah. So
she's not that strong in this, and she's not that strong in Game of Thrones very often. I think
she's a little bit whiny.
Yeah, there's always.
That's her season 1 of Game of Thrones is her doing that.
Yeah. I think that the thing is there's always been a threat with her through Game of Thrones. They've always seemed to be suggesting, no, this season she really turns it on, and she really turns into a hard-nosed bitch, and it's never really happened. The most recent episode of Game of Thrones, for anybody who's seen it, it seems like they're pushing that again. Whether or not it'll actually happen, I don't know. I don't think she's particularly strong in this, but what I will say is again, back on the sort of sexism issue, there's stuff in this which is, you know, look at Psylocke's crotch over here, and, you know, look at J-Law's boobs and stuff like that, and that's fine. But I think one thing is nobody's really giving. A lot of people complain about the Marvel movies and how they don't give much prominence to female heroes and they don't do much to celebrate female heroes. That's one thing you can't really accuse the X-Men series of, and I think this film falls into that category as well. The female characters are always the most important characters, and if you think about the character that Sophie, whatever her face, plays, of Jean Grey, you know, throughout this series and retroactively in this episode as well, she's the one to fear. She's the one that, you know what, if this girl goes off, we're all fucked. You know, so I think this series, the X-Men series, needs to a little bit of credit where credit's due, is doing for female characters and female superheroes what maybe the Marvel universe has yet to achieve and is often criticised for, and yet nobody's really giving it that credit and celebrating that. Has it sold any more toys? Has it actually sold any more female figures? I doubt it, but you know, at least the movies are doing that. So
yeah. It's just, I mean, Jennifer Lawrence in this. I mean, fair play to her for turning up. What does she do? I mean, like, I would have liked a bit more on the whole idea of her being like an icon to mutants and her not being a fan of that. It doesn't feel like it's played up enough.
I don't know though. I think the problem is if they had have done that, it would have felt a little bit too close to her other major franchise.
Yeah, it would have been. It does a little bit feel like Jennifer Lawrence his character is quite literally doing what Jennifer Lawrence was probably doing behind scenes, saying, "I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be the hero of this movie anymore. I don't want to be here. I want to go. Can we finish shooting now?" Yeah. Singer went, can we just do that one more time? No.
Well, it's interesting that...
No, we can't.
It's interesting that that's the case, but she's actually been in the news this week, kind of almost teasing 20th Century Fox about getting them back, because they've apparently, Fassbender, McAvoy and Lawrence have signed a contract that says that they don't have to. If they make more movies, all three of them have to appear, otherwise none of them appear. So she's kind of been teasing. I forget what the quote was, but she basically said to an interviewer something like, "Yeah, I think Fox should be worried because we might not fucking come back and do any more of these because she's not they were only contracted to do 3.
So and from what I read, none of them are that fussed about.
None of them want to. But this is the thing, why is she saying stuff like that? Does she want them to court her for a 4th one? I doubt it. I mean, she's got enough bubbling on with a sort of career as an award-winning actress that she doesn't really need. She's done enough franchises now to keep her in low-cut dresses for the next few years, I think.
Yeah, I don't think Jennifer Lawrence will ever star in a film that, at least to start with, they're thinking would be a franchise ever again. No. Unless she's producing it. I would say the same about Fassbender, but he's doing Assassin's Creed, but then he's producing that. He's actually very much involved behind the scenes there. So from that point of view, fair enough. But I don't know. It's just if they're not all 3 of them are involved, then what the hell do we have for the next one?
Yeah. I think for now, it's going to be David O. Russell movies all the way for her for a few years, I think.
Yeah.
Did Rose Byrne do anything in this movie other than find Apocalypse?
Yeah, well, I mean, she laid down a rug incorrectly.
Yeah.
I wish she would have been called out in that. At least they could have acknowledged how stupid that was. It was well, how did the sunlight even reach it in the first place? Oh, there was a rug.
Yeah, my bad, that one.
And also, if those people were worshipping Apocalypse, wouldn't they have wanted him to come out?
Yeah, they just didn't figure out that sun thing.
Yeah, they didn't. They didn't.
So why would they always have insisted of putting the rug over over it completely before?
Why was there only 6 of them, and why were they just worshipping him in the dark? It's a really weird.
You've been a cult, Noel. You do weird shit.
No, that's why I got out and left you in there.
Well, shit got real. There was a donkey and a monkey and all kinds of semen.
I don't know. I can't help you. I'm afraid, gentlemen. I can't help you on this one.
You liked it.
No, I mean I can't. You had the experience you had with it, and I can't justify my experience with it at all.
I'm glad you like it. I never play down another person liking a movie. It's always better to like a movie. Like I said, I didn't hate it. Like Ian says, I think 1 and 2 star reviews are harsh because very harsh. That's just people being shitty for the sake of being shitty. To be honest, it's not that bad because like Ian said, there are great kind of little sequences in it. There's great bits in it where it is really entertaining, and that's beyond even not just including the Quicksilver bits. There are entertaining bits within it. It's not a complete fucking car crash. It's not a Fantastic Four.
No, well, this is it. But and but I'm looking at this now, and I'm sort of as a package and as a movie, and structurally and tonally and character-wise and performance-wise, I know what this is, but that's not how I judge movies. I judge movies purely 100% on the basis of how much I enjoyed them. And for whatever reason, for whatever it is that this taps into for me, that's, it was an awesome experience for me, and I can't wait to watch it again. Maybe on a rewatch, all those faults with it will be more prominent, and I will be less forgiving of it. Maybe I was in the right mood at the right time. Maybe the beer that I drank and was drinking throughout helped. I don't know. But yeah, it's a fun, unapologetic comic book movie that is brightly coloured and shiny and has Metallica and Eurythmics and other fun stuff, and attractive women in low-cut tops.
I can't decide between a touching cloth and a definitely not shit. I think there is just about enough to do a definitely not shit. just about. I really, really wish it was 20 minutes shorter.
I'm straddling between shit and touching cloth, and I think I'm just going to go touching cloth. Just because there were bits that I enjoyed, so I can't outright say that it was shit.
So there you go then.
I think you know where I stand, yeah. Yeah, definitely not shit for me.
This is definitely not shit. Well, there you go. X-Men Apocalypse. So those of you in America that this comes out next week, there's hope for you.
So on the Blu-ray, am I right, Noel? It can say, or on the American poster, it can say, better than Captain America: Civil War. Noel Mellor.
It can't say better. It can't say better. It can say, I enjoyed it more than Captain America: Civil War. Noel Mellor. That's what it can say.
Cool.
Okay, so and the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray is on pre-order for $20.99 on Amazon. There you go, Noel. So
right, I'm upgrading.
You got the Ultra HD, you got the Blu-ray, you got an ultraviolet copy, you got everything you want. $20.99. There you go. All right, let's move it along then, and let's talk about some what we watched. And Noel, do you want to maybe talk about Civil War and why it's a piece of shit then?
I won't trouble you too long with this. You know, it's yeah. I rewatched Captain America: Civil War twice in the last week. When I first watched it, I was obviously extremely excited for it, and I was in Denmark and I was drinking some of my favourite beers and went along to watch it just in the perfect mood, in the perfect situation, in a place called Cinemax in Aarhus. And they have a first class sort of place, so the equivalent over here of you know, Odeon has Premiere and stuff like that. We have reclining leather seats and table service and stuff like that. So it was the perfect situation, and I had a 5-star movie experience with it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly, you know, loved every moment of it. But I think I was kind of seeing it through that sort of first watch sheen, and a lot of the problems with it didn't really present themselves until later. So I rewatched Civil War, as I say, twice this week. When I reviewed it on Letterboxd the first time, I took a star off. So it went from a 5-star movie to a 4-star movie. So it's still a great movie. It's still highly, highly enjoyable. I just think it's the motivations for a lot of the characters are really patchy, and people turn up for reasons that aren't really explained, and I just think it gives itself too much to do. I think what they wanted to do with this was ambitious, obviously, and they wanted to turn it into. They wanted to reflect the event, the comic book event of Civil War. So they took that storyline, changed it a little bit, and sort of did some stuff. I think they set themselves too big a task, really, and as such, you kind of have people like Hawkeye wandering into the film for no reason. You have Scarlet Witch having problems and struggles that don't make sense. You have Vision struggling with things that he shouldn't be struggling with. You have characters like Ant-Man that are just kind of thrown in for sort of, well, we've got him and he's available, let's chuck him in, it'll add some comedy. There's still a lot that's great about it. The Spider-Man stuff's great. You know, there's some really interesting moments in it. There's some interesting conflict in there as well. I just feel like they keep giving themselves too much to do with these films and too many characters. What I think the solo, you know, the solo Marvel movie should be an opportunity to sort of reboot a little bit. I don't mean reboot in the traditional sense. I mean just take it down a little bit and just have a solo story and let things play out and let us remind ourselves of who these characters are and what they care about and what they stand for, and give them something to fight for. Unfortunately, what you've got here is, after the filler that was Age of Ultron, you've got Avengers 2.5. And it's just, there's just a lot going on, and it loses something for that. they did really well with it. There's some brilliant stuff in it. I still think Black Panther was fantastic. I still think Black Panther is potentially the next most interesting thing that they've got coming. And, you know, they did really well with the story and managing all of it. But I'm getting a bit fed up of these movies being a management situation. The one thing that I always said about the first Avengers movie was that it was brilliant for the way that it managed the situation. But now all comic book movies are just managing what the next movie is going to be, or managing the fact that they're trying to cram as many characters in as possible. And I think this film struggles to deal with a lot of that stuff. But that sounds very negative. It's still a 4-star movie. It's still a fantastic comic book movie. It's still in the top 4 for me of Marvel movies. So it's still great.
I just said X-Men Apocalypse was definitely not shit, and I spent half an hour dumping on it, bud. So, you know.
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's a lot of small points with Civil War, and a lot of things that just don't quite click for me. And that I only picked that up on second and third watch. So, but at the end of the day, like I say, it's still a great movie. So there you go. So I rewatched that. It was actually 13 days ago now that I watched San Andreas, but I'll mention it anyway because it's fucking awesome. Yeah, a perfect watch for me.
Mate, you haven't watched it, and so you've seen it in 4K.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, The Rock's head.
Sweaty head. It's got so many great moments in it. It's got the whole sort of, Roland Emmerich sort of thing going on for visual purposes. It's got all that stuff, so that's great about it. But also it's just got really entertaining Rock moments, like the moment that they sort of parachute out of the plane on the field, and the Rock sort of turns to the camera and poses, says, "It's been a long time since I took you to second base," or whatever it is he said. So yeah, it's just unapologetic fun, and I'll watch The Rock in anything pretty much. So it's all good.
I hope he punches an earthquake in the sequel. That's all I ask.
Yeah,
I would think he will.
I love that this is getting a sequel.
Is it getting a sequel?
Yeah,
it's getting a sequel.
Oh shit! I didn't know that. I thought you were
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, apart from that, last night I watched a movie from 1962, a sort of drama romance movie set in the northwest of England called A Kind of Loving. It's directed by John Schlesinger, who sort of is known for other things like Marathon Man, Midnight Cowboy, that type of thing. So this is a movie from 1962, starring Alan Bates and June Ritchie. And it's a fairly simple love story, basically. It's about a young couple and how they fall in love and how they get pregnant and they have to deal with that. There's some interesting stuff in there about this guy really wants this girl, and then he gets her, and all of a sudden he starts to think about what he's giving up by just being in a relationship and all the things that he can't do. And then obviously the pregnancy kind of forces him into a situation. This is 1962, so you kind of have to marry the girl if you get her pregnant. That's the way things worked then. And there's some interesting stuff in there. It's a little bit drawn out. It's nearly 2 hours long, which is unusual for a film this old, about such a simple thing. But it's really enjoyable. It's surprisingly, I wasn't expecting it to look so damn good. It looks very, very good. And yeah, it was worth a watch. I'm just kind of, it's this sort of this long-winded thing that I've got. I've got a folder of movies that are all kind of set in the northwest of England, like old movies from the 1960s and 50s and stuff like that, and 70s, that I'm just trying to watch, and every now and again I'll go to one. So yeah, this was a complete shot in the dark. I didn't know anything about it. All I knew was that it was directed by this guy and it was set in the northwest of England. And yeah, it was worth a watch. So I think that's about it, really.
Have you seen the film he made after it, Billy Liar?
Billy Liar. No, I've not actually. No.
That's worth a watch. Tom Courtenay in it. Yeah, that's
1963. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's if you like. What's it? That's definitely worth a watch. Billy Liar.
Oh, set in Northern England as well. I'll give this a go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll add this to the list.
Yeah, it's fun. That's what I'll say.
Nice. Very good. Very good. Mark?
I've only watched a couple of things because it was only Thursday since I've recorded. I've actually watched 3 films, but I've completely forgotten what I watched on Friday night. Like, can't remember at all what I watched.
Is it something from the ITV2 collection?
It wasn't something from the ITV2 collection, no. I honestly, I don't have a vague recollection of what it was, and I just cannot remember at all. But I know that last night I rewatched Prisoners, the Denis Villeneuve movie from a couple of years ago. Nice. With Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, Viola Davis, Maria Bello, Paul Dano, and Melissa Leo. I really enjoyed it when it was out. It was one of those those sleeper sort of thrillers that come about every sort of few years where no one really kind of knows anything about it, and then all of a sudden it arrives and everyone kind of goes, look, this is a solid, 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5 movie. And it's about the third or fourth time I watched it, and it was $3.99 on iTunes. So I thought, you know what, you can't not get that. Denis Villeneuve, of course, is doing the next Blade Runner movie. He did Sicario. It's shot by Roger Deakins. It looks incredible all the way through it. I'm just looking at it going, fucking hell, Deakins can shoot the shit out of a movie.
It's the definition of solid thriller, that film, I think.
It is, yeah, it is, and it's the sort of thing that sort of procedural police sort of thrillers that I just eat up. And Gyllenhaal is my go-to guy at the moment. It still holds up on sort of third watch. In fact, you start to notice more and more as you go on. You start to notice how fantastic Paul Dano is in it as well. And Terrence Howard, how bad he can be in pretty much anything he's ever near, kind of starts to dissipate a little bit. It's a fantastic movie. But today, I watched the Point Break remake.
Oh my!
Oh God!
Right, now to add a little bit of context before I tell you about Point Break. The original Point Break.
This was never going to go well for you, was it?
Right. The original Point Break is quite simply one of the movies that I have watched the most in my life. I have owned Point Break.
For a twist there.
I've owned Point Break. I've owned Point Break on VHS. I've owned it on Laserdisc. I've owned it on DVD. I've owned it on Blu-ray. I've owned it on a Steelbook Blu-ray, and I have it on iTunes as well.
This is your equivalent to me of Breck Eisner remaking Alien.
Yes, it is, quite literally. I adore Point Break, and anyone who says to me, "Oh, Point Break, yeah, it's just a dumb action film," I would literally punch them in the cock and say, "Sorry, was that just not that painful? Was that me just stroking your cock, or was that me punching you in the dick?" It's not a dumb action film. It's a fucking masterpiece of the action genre. And I genuinely believe that. So, I had to will myself to eventually watch Point Break, which takes the idea of Point Break and throws it into something completely different. Like if they literally had a script, read it, and went... a little bit like Point Break, and someone went, holy fuck. Basically, like what they did with Die Hard 4. For a start off, his name isn't even Johnny Utah.
Oh, right? You've lost me.
No, wait, the weird thing is, his name isn't Johnny Utah.
Pittsburgh.
Except it is. It is Johnny Utah, right?
He's undercover.
No. They call him, at one point, Delroy Lindo, who plays his FBI kind of boss, calls him by his real name. I can't even remember. No, she calls him by Johnny Utah. And he goes, no, it. And then he says his real name, which I can't remember. And I only watched it a few hours ago. And then that's it. From then on, they just go back to calling him Johnny Utah. Because Johnny Utah starts off the film as he's an extreme sports star. And then his best friend dies whilst doing an extreme sports stunt with him. So that causes him to stop being an extreme sports star and go and get his GED, his law degree, and then join the FBI.
So he's not an FBI agent with a plucky sort of, taste for adventure. It's the other way around.
Yeah, he becomes that. And Bodhi is Edgar Ramirez, who already seems to be a master fucking criminal. It's a very green and blue looking film as well.
Next thing you're going to tell me Gary Busey isn't in it.
Gary Busey isn't in it. Do you know who is in it?
Jake Busey.
It's Ray Winston, who I am not joking. I had to at one point pause the film and turn around to Becky and say, is it just me, or does Ray Winston look like Anthony Worrell Thompson dressed as Han Solo going to a Star Wars themed party? I swear to God, that's what he looks like for like 2 scenes. He's wearing like a white sort of shirt with a vest, and he looks like Anthony Worrell Thompson, who... American listeners, quickly Google Anthony Worrell Thompson and imagine if he was dressed as Han Solo. That is Ray Winston in this movie. It takes a few cues from the original, and when it does, it's painful that it does that. And it is literally just a collection of extreme sort of sports scenes strung together. Because what Johnny Utah realises is they're chasing this Osaki 8, which is this collection of extreme sports things, essentially. And that is what these guys are chasing. They're not criminals. They're chasing this, and they're trying to give back to the world by stealing money and just giving it away to people and all this lot. It is absolute bobbins, and I actually kind of liked it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I actually did kind of enjoy it because it's dumb. It's really, really dumb. But the guy who plays Johnny Utah is actually quite entertaining in it. Yeah, I kind of enjoyed it.
I'm just watching this thing that Noel was just sent us.
Let's have a look, see if it is the scene. See if it is one of the scenes.
Oh,
He does look like Han Solo.
Yes, that is it.
Oh, that's very good. And to be fair, the other guy quite looks like young Anakin Skywalker.
Just a little bit. Or, Noel will appreciate this. Throughout the entire movie, we kept on calling him Budget Jax Teller.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
But, honestly, it's actually not terrible. It's not terrible.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Do you know what? No, do you know what? This falls into the sabotage realm of only I might be the only person in the world that actually kind of likes it. So I turned to Becky and said, "What did you think?" And she went, "It was terrible." Like, I kind of enjoyed it.
Fucking hell, Mark.
There's a great bit where, I'm not joking, Edgar Ramirez is climbing up Angel Falls. And he's rock climbed the side of it, and he actually pulls his entire weight up using his pinky finger.
You see, the reason why you like it sounds like reasons why most people would think it a piece of shit.
Yeah, you're probably right, because it is also so earnest as well.
Oh dear, Mark.
Yeah, but that's it. That's all I watched this week. That and something else that I can't remember. Go on, Ian, what have you watched?
I've taken the air out of my balloon, to be honest with you.
Sorry.
I watched a few things. So, Noel, did you get round to watching Cooties?
I didn't in the end, no. No, been a bit busy, so I just didn't get to it. It will remain on my hard drive for another fuck knows how long.
What a prick. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
No, it's fine. So, yeah, Cooties.
I think it's pronounced cooties.
Oh, Cooties.
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 Yeah, with a D.
Cooties.
Cooties.
Cooties. Yeah, cooties, cooties, cooties. Cooties. So, Cooties.
You're welcome, dude and the monkey listening.
Cooties. Cootie, 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 Yeah. So basically, it's a summer school. Some infected chicken turns the kids into zombie.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Infected chicken, brilliant.
Yeah. It's like a chicken nugget that a kid eats, and then they get sick, and then they bite other kids, and then the other kids bite them and whatnot. Mark, have you seen this?
I've seen Cooties, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So did I actually. So it's Elijah Wood is a kind of a new teacher. He's just kind of moved back to his hometown, and Rainn Wilson is a rather aggressive like PE teacher, and Alison Pill is his girlfriend, Rainn Wilson's girlfriend, but also Elijah Wood's kind of into her as well. And basically, them and a bunch of other people barricade themselves in and try and work out what the hell is going on and how they can get out of it, essentially. And yeah, it's fun. It benefits from a very, very strong final 5 minutes, which leaves you in a happy place. Like, spoiler alert for Cooties, but spoiler alert. The ending of the film is Rainn Wilson basically telling a bunch of zombie kids to go fuck themselves and then burning a shitload of them alive in a soft play centre, which is a good time. And they build up how much of a bag of cunts these kids are as well. Like, generally. It makes you really, not like the kids in the film. There's one who is called Patriot, who's a particular little bastard. And, you actually don't mind seeing all these kids get walloped, which is quite something. I'm not going to say it's groundbreaking cinema or anything like that, but it's got a lightness of touch about it. It's paced quite well. The gore's very well handled. There are a couple of scenes that are actually quite tense. So yeah, didn't hate it. It's not great, but
it's well worth under 90 minutes though.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, I mean, if it was like 100 minutes, I'd knock a star off. So that's Cooties. It's actually not bad. Watched a couple of comedies. I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, which I've never seen before.
Ah, yes.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time, yeah.
Which I'm quite a big fan of the fact that the kind of the disease infecting the neighbourhood is not crack, but is actually just gold chains. That was pretty solid. There's a good running joke involving one of the characters' brothers dying from overabundance of gold chains, and then other characters looking at his photo and going like, how the hell did he pee?
It's a very real problem in the late 80s.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't remember because I'm younger than you. It passes the time. It passed the time well enough. There were some decent laughs in it. It didn't help, but at the end, there's the Mr. Big is revealed to be this person who I was assuming was quite a big person at the time. And he has this speech about how, but you weren't expecting me, were you? A big time person turning up in this film late in the day for a cameo. It's like, I don't actually know who you are. But yeah, it was fine. I laughed enough. Just about. There you go.
I remember that was a VHS kind of, I like the cover, like the title, I'm renting that.
It had a great poster.
It did have a great poster.
And I remember the trailer was very... the trailer was on a lot of tapes at the time.
It was. Yeah. It just made you look good, made you look stupid and think, do you know what? Yeah. Yes.
What's the name of the bad guy in it?
Mr. Big.
Oh, Mr. Big. It's John Vernon.
John Vernon it was, yeah.
Oh, yeah, John Vernon. Yeah, you know that guy. You do know it. Yeah, fucking hell.
Okay, hang on.
Dirty Harry. Where are we? You know that guy, man. He's been in fucking loads of things.
Hang on.
Oh, what do I know him from most? I feel like I've seen him in a lot of comedy, like a big comedy. Ah, he's the cop in Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
He is.
That's what I know him from. But he's been in loads of stuff.
I'm having a look now.
I wouldn't have thought he was ever a sort of big star, like recognisable star, though.
It's kind of weird. Like, it's quite self-referential. I was like, I don't actually know who the fuck you are. Like, maybe I was just thinking, like, maybe if I watch it now, thinking, oh, he's just a slightly hey that guy, then fair enough. But I was just racking my brains, thinking, like, what am I actually supposed to know him from something? And
He was in Animal House, wasn't he?
Ah, yeah.
he
It was Dean Vernon in Animal House.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there you go. It was fine. I rewatched Van Wilder.
Fucking love that movie.
Because it was on Netflix. Yeah, it's a good time.
I've seen that.
You've not seen Van Wilder. It's
No, I don't
fun, man.
so.
It's a lot of fun.
It made me feel old because a lot of the second Jimmy Eat World album, like, it kind of plays during the course of the film, and that weirded me out because I very much remember getting that CD when it was first released, and it just like, fuck, I'm again approaching my it feels like imminent death. So there you go.
That film literally just gets by on look how charismatic Ryan Reynolds is.
It's exactly what I said in my Letterboxd review.
Yeah,
it is powered by charisma.
There's a great moment where there's some great kind of throwaway comedy lines. I think one of them is where Gwen's just burst into his room and he's with another girl and he runs out chasing. He's like, I'm pretty sure you just burst into my room. Wait, was that was my room, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It's like Tara Reid can't keep up with Ryan Reynolds at all.
Yeah. No. I mean, she's literally there to look good. It's kind of brutal. I mean, like, fuck, didn't she play like some sort of scientist in Alone in the Dark as well?
She played a curator of a museum where she was also an anthropologist.
Yeah, there you go.
I own that movie on DVD.
Jesus Christ. So
Christian Slater movie because I own it.
That's a fair point, well made, actually. But yeah, no. So I mean, it's a fun time. It is powered entirely by charisma, and the gross out gag, which I will not spoil for Noel, is genuinely fucking disgusting, and they really, really rinse it as well.
Yeah.
It's fucking horrible.
It is.
But yeah, man. I mean, it's an hour and 25 minutes long. Ryan Reynolds is really good in it. It's a fun time. And my final thing for the week is World War Z, which I hadn't watched since the cinema, and I watched the extended action cut. And it's interesting. I was reading up on the differences between this and the theatrical afterwards, and most of it is like just little 2 or 3 second bits of violence.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it did feel more intense than I remembered it feeling in the cinema with the violence. There seems to be there is more just like zombies flinging themselves at people and really intensely attacking them, and like the people being infected and convulsing around and stuff like that. There's a lot more of that. There's like one major bit of narrative which is kind of added, which is an explanation of how North Korea have dealt with it and how North Korea hasn't been infected, which is kind of weird that was added and not in the theatrical cut. But hey, but yeah, I still think it's amazing that World War Z is as good as it is, considering all the problems that it had on in production. Like, considering the entire third act was redone, and there are only snippets of what the third act actually was in a montage at the end. The whole Battle of Moscow thing, where there's a couple of shots of it, was an entirely filmed sequence that they just completely scrapped.
Didn't it add like 20 million onto the budget or something the same like that?
Yeah, they got Damon Lindelof in. He kind of like just rewrote the entire third act, and it's hilarious because the third act takes place in Cardiff, Wales.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, there's a shot in there of what the filmmakers think Cardiff looks like, which is hilarious. But there's like a helicopter shot, and it kind of looks like the valleys, but it's not Cardiff in the slightest. It was like they did like 20 minutes research and just got it a bit wrong. I still remember in the cinema as well, when they start talking about there's a research facility in Cardiff, Wales, people kind of laughing, and then people actually cheering where the tannoy or the airplane goes, "We will be landing at Cardiff, Wales shortly." Like, people straight up applauded in my cinema. I don't know. I still remember that, and it's awesome. But yeah, World War Z, man, it's really good. It's really good.
It is. I really enjoyed it, to be honest. Both times I watched it, I enjoyed it.
It's properly intense when it's going, but I really like the procedural aspect of it as well. Like the fact that Brad Pitt is just a UN investigator who's really good at his job, and he's finding the little bits of clues and stuff. And I quite like the bit of narrative action scene dynamic that it gets going, and I think it really works. And I mean, it's only just around about 2 hours as well. It's paced very, very well. And also, I mean, it gets going pretty much straight away. There's like a couple of there's a scene at their home, and there's a scene with them in a car, and then it kicks off while they're in the car.
Yeah.
And then it's just go time. I think it's cracking. I think this cut is on Netflix. I bought it on iTunes a while back, so I watched it on there. But I think this cut's on Netflix, and it's worth a go because it's pretty fucking intense. And also, sorry, just last thing, just the fact that like it's a zombie film with massive production value, which is rare.
Yeah, and it is a massive production.
You know, I just like, I don't know, like the Jerusalem scene where the zombies are kind of like building up like ants and then just throwing themselves down and then just launching themselves at people. I mean, it's fucking scary. Just if you think about it too much, which I tend to do. But yeah, it's really solid. I mean, Noel, you've seen World War Z, haven't you?
Yeah, I don't. It's weird. I don't remember a damn thing about it. I seem to remember enjoying it, but I kind of don't remember it at all. It just sort of washed over me. I can't imagine it's ever a movie that I would ever feel the need to rewatch for that reason. But I seem to remember enjoying it.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've been meaning to rewatch it for ages, and I'm glad I finally did it. I don't know, body infection type stuff kind of weirds me out. That's one thing I meant to say about Cooties, actually. There's a scene with a very young baby in it, which I didn't think this film was going to go there. And it, like, because I'm now a pussy, it, like, just, and there's some sound design stuff going on in it as well that I was just a bit like, oh, fucking hell, it kind of gave me weird shivers. And this kind of stuff does bother me anyway. And body horror in general, it's why I don't rewatch a lot of David Cronenberg stuff. Like The Brood, you would never, ever, ever, ever get me to watch The Brood ever again. But yeah, World War Z, it's really worth a rewatch if you haven't since, for a while.
Cool.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Nice. Twitter questions, do we have any?
Yeah, we do actually. We have a couple. Hope to get them.
Yes.
Cool. Give me 2 seconds and I shall...
I'm going to check the emails. We won't have any, but I'm going to check.
Right. First question from Rich Kid at Rich J Kid. After X-Men Apocalypse was a disappointment to everyone but Noel, what are the worst examples of a great cast being let down by the material?
American Hustle.
Yeah. Gangster Squad.
No, it's a fucking great film.
Gangster Squad is not a fucking great film.
It's an awesome film.
I don't hate it, but it should have been better. What else? There's a really obvious one probably staring us right.
There is, yeah. I feel like there is.
Yeah, I feel like there is a really, really obvious one that is just fucking terrible that should be great, but I can't think of it. But yeah, Gangster Squad would be the one I'd go to. I expected so much from that, and then it delivered something that was just all right.
I really enjoy Gangster Squad, but for me, American Hustle was definitely a big one. That film for me felt like people were praising it because of the cast, not because of what the cast did in the film.
That's exactly what it was. That film, it still baffles me that film didn't get nominated for hair and makeup, but got nominated for Best Picture, when it literally is 70% hair and makeup.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to think. You're right though. There's going to be something obvious staring us in the face.
There's an obvious one that we can't think of. Another one from Punter at Punter01 of the Chinstroke versus Punter podcast.
We don't need to answer this. He won't listen.
That's a fair point.
Shouldn't let the X-Men movies die and use the odd character in other properties, a la Deadpool. I could see that actually happening, to be honest.
I can't see it happening, but I agree with him. And as much as I enjoyed this last movie, that's for reasons that don't really have much to do with this. I think that would be a useful thing for them to do, but I don't think that'll ever happen. And they've proved, I don't necessarily think that the X-Men characters on their own are strong enough to hold up a whole film. So I don't think single shot movies would ever be an option. I can't really see, Colossus or fucking Mystique or
Gambit getting his own
Havoc but again, Gambit, I don't think Gambit's a strong enough character to prop up a movie. They seem to be relying a lot on the fact that it's potentially going to be played by what's his name? Channing Tatum. They seem to be relying a lot more on that than they are the fact that it's Gambit. So pop up in other people's movies, but then whose movies are they going to pop up in? Other X-Men movies, because they're not going to pop up in Marvel movies, are they? So, I get what Paul's saying here actually, but I think it's more likely that Fox will just find a new way to milk what they've got. I think.
Another question from Mark Zizou at Team Zizou. In a film surrounding the death of Natalie Wood, who plays Wood, Warner, and Walken, and will this be made after Walken's death?
I actually had to Google this because I didn't know about this story, and just reading a little bit about it, this is actually quite a fascinating story. So watch a movie about this. As far as who's going to play people, I have no idea. I don't think it's possible to cast Christopher Walken. I don't think there is only one person on this planet like Christopher Walken, and it's Christopher Walken. So I could see in 10, 15 years' time, Tom Hiddleston's impressions of Christopher Walken coming back to bite him in the ass when he is cast as Christopher Walken in this. And it'll probably be Anne Hathaway as Natalie Wood and
it's not a bad shout.
Christian Bale as Romana.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
But it would be a fascinating film, to be honest.
I'd be happy to take a documentary about it, to be honest, if there's enough material out there, but I don't know if there is.
There's the same as the John Belushi rumoured film that's been going about doing the rounds about the night he died, death as well. Because there you've got was it De Niro and Robin Williams were there.
All right.
So there's a film in that as well. But I could see these coming out at some point. But yeah, I would think it'd be after Walken shifts the mortal coil, I'd say.
Oh, for sure.
There's certainly more than meets the eye with that one. The fact that it keeps getting reopened as a case.
Either that or she just fell off the boat.
Yeah. Well, it could be perfectly innocent, but yeah.
I kind of thought that was what it was.
No, it's she fell off the boat, but she had when it was found. They've looked back at the forensics later on. It's more likely that the bruises and cuts and everything that she had happened before she entered the water. And the captain of the boat that they were on at the time said that that her and Robert Warner had an argument and it got physical.
There was a note as well. Apparently, there was a note to her. Was it her agent or something that said, "Don't laugh." I don't know. I just read it just a minute ago, but there was a note that said something like, "Don't let people know what you know," or something.
So the thing is, it's one of those. It could be completely innocent, or it could be more than meets the eye.
If you value your life, keep quiet about what you know.
Fucking
This
hell.
this was relating to her relationship with Wagner, so it sounds like there's a lot more there. Sounds like a really interesting story, so I had no idea about it. So
it'll probably get out there one day then, I suppose. Somebody's going to do a fucking film about it, but it'll be Arthur Walken Dice, like you say.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Right, what a way to end. So, on next week's show, we got a bit of a choice here, Mark, because...
go on then.
So, well, Friday, the only kind of big thing out is Money Monster, which I'm interested in.
I'm interested.
But then on Monday, the Tyler Perry starring Turtles film and Duncan Jones's Warcraft both come out. And then the Friday after, it's The Nice Guys.
Ooh.
So...
Are you suggesting we do a midweek recording and do...
I'm throwing it out there.
I will have a look and never decide on that, because I would... The thing is, there's actually 3 movies I'd like to see there.
I think, to be honest, I think you'd probably get... The Nice Guys would be a great one to cover, but it's a comedy, so how much will you get out of it? I think Money Monster's probably more of a discussion movie. So, like, maybe a double bill with those two might work, or I don't know.
Yeah. I'll be doing Nice Guys no matter what.
Yeah.
I cannot fucking wait for that. But I also won't mind seeing Warcraft and the Turtles movie.
I mean, that's the thing. I don't know. Like, it's just the Duncan Jones factor is literally...
Yeah.
The only reason why I'm bothered about Warcraft, but I will see it because of that.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I don't know. That's going to be interesting, but we'll see what we come up with. We'll see when we record as well.
Yeah.
I was just assuming like the week after we would just do The Nice Guys.
Oh, no question.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Okay, well, thank you very much to Noel for his controversial opinions.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be here, and it's nice to have a positive reaction to a comic book movie, even when you fuckers don't.
Yeah, it's too bad it was the wrong one. And Noel, no, Mark,
Yes.
You're still here.
Yes.
Right, bye.
Bye.
I don't know, was there anything else to say? I've kind of lost my train of thought.
At Dude and the Monkey, at Ian Loring, at Filmrant, at DudeFoz, dudeandamonkey@gmail.com.
Oh, also, can I just mention, if anybody wants to buy a book... Oh, no, I've not got a book anymore. Sorry, I've got nothing to sell. Bye.
Hey!
Yet.
Anybody want to buy a VHS player?
If anyone wants to buy an autographed VHS player by Noel Adventures in VHS Mellor, tweet at Filmrant.
Yeah.
I got a bargain buy at a car boot this morning. I got the Long Riders soundtrack for £4.
The Long Riders?
Yeah, the Walter Hill film.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. I don't want £4, it was £2, sorry, £2 it was.
I have not seen that film.
It's a Walter Hill film, so basically
Walter Hill film. Yeah.
It's an actual Walter Hill film that is a western that is actually a western, as opposed to every other one of his films that are westerns that aren't actually westerns.
Bang, it's on the list.
Nice.
It's fun actually. Literally everyone in it's a brother of somebody.
Oh, that fucking right, yeah.
Yeah. Keith Carradine, David Carradine, and the other Carradine, Stacey Keach and his brother, and as Randy Quaid and Dennis Quaid, I think.
Wow. Double Quaid.
Yeah. Double Quaid.
Yeah, man, fuck. I've been meaning to watch that for the longest time.
And of course, Ry Cooder does the soundtrack for it.
Yes.
And it's fucking great.
That's very good.
That was great.
Right, I think we're done.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
thank you all. Thank you,
Chat
Mark.
soon, guys. Bye.
Bye!
Bye.